and get to look at the beautiful scenery. Wow, look at that.
What's an operating system? It's fundamentally the software that's between the hardware and applications you run. So that means that the resources provide the hardware, it has to abstract it away and manages them. So you don't deal with, dynamic RAM, you don't deal with disks, we deal with files and running programs and other things. Operating systems make that happen. So now you all use operating systems all the time, whether you're using Windows, using Linux, Mac OS, Android, iOS, FreeBSD, OpenBSD, QNX. There's a lot of operating systems out there. But interestingly enough, they all have roughly the same architecture. And that architecture is basically this. So what you have is you have a hardware, whatever your computer is, the RAM, devices, CPU, whatever. On top of that, we have code running in what's known as the kernel. The kernel has special privileges that allow it to control everything. And then on top of that, we have applications running in what we call processes. So you might be running a web browser, you might run a word processor, might be running Zoom as we're doing right now, might have something in the background like syncing files like Dropbox, but you also have my program like File Explorer. So when we talk about what an operating system is, it's actually a combination of components. One is, the most thing people really focus on is the kernel, but there's also special applications that have special privileges, and there's code that's in running programs, known as libraries, basically shared code that's brought in there.
And the topic I'm about to talk about is changing the world with VR. So as I mentioned, we're now called Masterpiece Studio. And what we're doing is we are making 3D content creation simple, right? This very complex process, we're making it easy. Creative professionals worldwide cannot create 3D content because it's too difficult. To put that in perspective, when I say can't create it, I mean they literally can't even draw a circle in 3D, let alone the complex, elaborate content that the world is asking for. Our company has a singular mission to make it easy to create 3D visual content. By having a simple, clear mission, it's much easier to communicate, and the rest of the team can know essentially where they need to go at all times.
One of my biggest dreams was to go back to school to do research. So I ended up doing a master's and a PhD in rehabilitation science at Queen's University. And I graduated from that in 2013. And since 2014, I have been working at the Briere Research Institute. Briere is a large hospital corporation or care center. So the Briere Continuing Care specializes in care of the elderly, in rehabilitation, in palliative care, family medicine, and long-term care, and assisted living and independent living. So I work for the Briere Research Institute, which is a research arm that does research in all those different areas that Briere Continuing Care is interested in. So the area that I'm particularly interested in is the use of technology for rehabilitation. So in my physio background, I've worked with people with stroke and other neurological conditions, but also older adults, people after injury, after illness. So my interest now is using different types of technology to help in the rehab. In particular, we have been using non-immersive virtual reality for rehab. What we have been using as one of the big technologies in our practice has been what we call non-immersive virtual reality, or VR. It's more like kind of like a Wii Fit rather than the immersive technology with the goggles.
So as I said, company Simwave, been around for 6 years. We're actually part of another company called SimFront. SimFront's been around since 2006. mostly focusing on military simulation. We spun off Simwave to create immersive experiences, so focusing on VR and AR. And the overall goal was to try to take what we learned from Simwave and all this, immersive technology. At the time, VR was consumerly brand new, where with the Oculus Rift development kit 1 and everything. So we backed that on Kickstarter. But the idea was to bring this technology back over to the military and implement it in some form, mostly training, because that's what we focus on. This is the one that we created for oil and gas company out west. And it was to train people to properly deliver fuel. This is an actual sheet that they would use, and you can read if I go to 220. So you can see like the liters and stuff like that you'd be required. Looks good. We let out the air. We keep it there just in case. Look at that. Beautiful job. Same thing over here. Bonding again. And I get to look at the beautiful scenery. Wow, look at that.
You got to figure out what it is you care about, what motivates you. And that's a combination of what is intellectually stimulating and also what kind of skills, tools do you like? I mean, do you like doing math? Do you like doing lab work? Do you like, are beakers really exciting to you? It's like, what do you want to play with over time?
If you want to become like a business owner, then just do it. Like literally just start and do it. There's so many times where like even myself, like I obviously I own one now, but there's other businesses I've been like, man, that would be such a good idea. I've just kind of like talked myself out of it. So if you want to be a business owner and you want to be able to like kind of run the show and be your own boss, do it. Like just literally do it. You want to start a YouTube channel, do it. You want to start streaming, do it, because that's the hardest thing. Is literally doing day one is the hardest thing. It takes 21 days to build a habit out of things, and that's kind of like on the gym side, like when you go to the gym. But you literally just need to take that first step. And I know everybody says that, but there's so many times where I haven't taken that first step, and then I'm like, oh, like dude, that'd be a good idea. Like I wish I did that. I wish I stuck with my YouTube channel. Like I had so many views and everything. And so in terms of becoming business and not necessarily, it could be any industry, because business is the same across the board. There's different struggles you're going to have. I had a whole bunch of hurdles doing a VR company, but there's going to be like the same thing of doing any company. You're going to have different hurdles, but it's all the same idea. If you're actually looking to get into like VR and things, I know Algonquin has really good game design programs. We develop primarily in game engines like Unreal and Unity, things like that. So go and if you want to get into the industry, hey, you can learn a whole lot right now without having to go to post-secondary right away. Like you're in high school, so you're obviously not going to go into the Gonk or Ottawa U or Carleton, right? So you can, like, if you want to get a head start, go ahead and learn online. Like there's so much on YouTube, like Khan Academy, like Code Academy, there's Gumroad things if you want to get into 3D art type things. Like make it a hobby if you really enjoy it.
I think, getting an education is important, learning as much as you can, but it's more a mindset. The most important thing that you can learn to achieve success is thinking the right way. People that fail have a fixed mindset. People that succeed have a growth mindset. Okay. Take on challenges. As soon as you have that fear and it'll be good for you, but you have a fear, 100% of the time overcome that. Take on bigger challenges, take on bolder projects increasingly, right? Understand something that everyone thinks it's an idea. You know what? Everybody's got good ideas. An idea is not what makes you successful. It's about execution. Okay. That's why if you, let's say I want to start a company and I have an idea and I want to find another person to start with me, called founders, right? Some people think, oh, I had the idea, so I should get more of the company. No, the idea is not worth anything because there's so many ideas out there. That's not the hard part. The hard part is executing. The hard part is taking that idea and putting it into reality.